After all the talk, all the speculation, the whole summer of recruiting, we got to see what Mick Cronin's new team looks like. Mostly on Locked On UCLA.
You are Locked On UCLA, your daily podcast on the UCLA Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to this edition of the Locked On UCLA podcast. I'm your host, Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer. Thanks for making the show your first listen each and every day. It's free wherever you get your podcast and available on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, review. Thank you for your support. And hey, the Bruins finally on the opening night of college basketball, speculation, everything, yada, yada, yada. We got to see what most of the team looked like in a 75-44 win against the Red Flash, St. Francis, coming to town, and the Bruins took them to school mostly in the second half. The first half wasn't too impressive. Overall, this was a game where we were wanting to see what the international freshman would look like. All the freshmen outside of Berke, because he was still waiting to get cleared by the NCAA. He was not playing this game, but that meant Mara was okay. Fible. Devin Williams, Sebastian Mack, Brandon Williams, 6 of the 7 freshmen were available to play, and yet this game was dominated by Adem Bona, who looked like he was a varsity player against JV boys in the way he dominated this, especially in the second half. 28 points, a career high, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and despite 3 personal fouls, where we nearly saw that ugly foul trouble rear its ugly head again in this game. Remember, in his freshman campaign, early on in the season, he would struggle with foul trouble. This time, still played 32 minutes, 28 points, and absolutely dominated a lot in the second half, just dunking over a St. Francis team that just does not have the size or the ability or the agility to keep up with the uber athletic, extremely talented, and future NBA first rounder, according to Mick Cronin, and what probably all the scouts will be saying by the end of the year in Adem Bona. Absolutely fantastic. Kenneth Nuba, 24 minutes, a starting Kenneth Nuba, 10 minutes on 4 of 4 shooting. Great to see him do those things. UCLA, for the most part, dominated this game in the paint. It was a total of, get this ready, 48-12. They outscored the Red Flash in the paint, 51% from the floor compared to St. Francis's 31%. And the game was largely dominated because the Bruins got to the paint with Bona, Nuba, and between those two guys, you can almost see them feasting in the lane all night long. Lazar Stefanovic, he had 11 points. The newcomer for UCLA, 8 rebounds. We're expecting him to play big minutes, a big role in the starting lineup. The transfer from Utah, the Runnin' Utes, 11 points and 4 assists with 0 turnovers. That is the definition of a leader. And while there's been a lot of talk, maybe you've read different articles, different things, Stefanovic is going to come in and play 30, 32 minutes a game. While we want Dylan Andrews in this season to be that Tiger Campbell-like role, and he did start this game, played 29 minutes, and is still trying to get off a little bit of an injury coming off the end of the preseason practice schedule into the regular season. The Tiger Campbell, Jaime Jaquez-like roles of guys that are going to play 36, 37 minutes a game, that's immediately going to Stefanovic, who double figures in his first official UCLA game. 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 0 turnovers. So you could put the ball in his hand. He can make a jumper, can hit a 3, which for this UCLA team is going to be an absolute struggle this year. UCLA only 2 of 9 from 3. Stefanovic made his first one, then missed his next 2. The Bruins are not going to be able to shoot the basketball consistently, at least what they showed from the beginning of this season in this first game, as much as we would like to see. I know Berke is supposed to help with that a little bit. It's just not going to be the most exciting of seasons, living and dying by the three-point line at times. That's never been Mick Cronin's forte, yet here they are winning this game against St. Francis. Things you have to like. With a bunch of newcomers, yes, more veteran starting lineup for Mick Cronin, using the likes of Nuba, Stefanovic, Bona, Dylan Andrews, and then Sebastian Mack, the freshman, gets the start. 4 of those 5 guys have played a college basketball season, multiple games, and gotten decent minutes. This was a big step up for Andrews, while for Bona, Stefanovic, and Nuba, they've already played big minutes in big-time games one way or another. So for a lot of new faces, only 7 turnovers compared to St. Francis's 21. The Bruins, who won this game by, 31 points, outscored their opponents in the paint by 36. They dominated points off turnovers by 23 and were able to do things in a successful marker to just say, hey, we're going to take advantage of turnovers, not cough up the basketball. And against an inferior opponent in this one, the Bruins were just too much. 18 assists on 29 made shots, which gave Mick Cronin his 100th win in his coaching tenure at UCLA. The fastest coach to 100 wins, 136, tying him with Jim Herrick. So all-time UCLA fastest coaches to 100 wins. It was Mick Cronin and Jim Herrick as the Bruins got the dub, starting off 1-0 here in 2023 and 2024. Now, let's take a quick look at these freshmen. We'll get more in depth throughout the season. I know they got Lafayette pretty soon, but this is a reaction to this game specifically and what we saw with this one. All right, the freshman, Sebastian Mack, 9 points, 3 personal fouls, 26 minutes. All right, you're going to deal with some freshman struggles. We'll see some highs from Mack, I think, pretty soon. We'll also see some probably not so efficient nights shooting the basketball. More often than not, we'll probably see Mack, in my opinion, get to double figures. Now, with Bona feasting, with Nubo making all his shots, Mack wasn't required to score the basketball or shoot it from deep this game. Mack didn't even take a single three-point shot in this game. I don't think that'll be the case heading forward. Solid performance from him, not needing a lot from the freshman guard coming out in his first career UCLA start. Jan Vide. Vide, well, you got him in 4 minutes of action coming out with an 0 for 3 performance. Not a lot from him. Feeble, you've got goose eggs across the board everywhere. And those were the 3 international. You got Feeble, Vide, and then Mar. Mar played 5 minutes, 3 personal fouls, didn't start, 2 points because he's trying to work his way in the lineup defensively, make plays offensively because he's supposed to be one of the most skilled passing big men. And with all the hype going around Nikola Jokic, right, as one of the best passing big men of all time, if Mar is getting a lot of high praise from his passing ability, you've got an international player in the NBA that's dominating with his passing instinct. We'll see if Mara can have a different but similar impact in this season for UCLA. Not a Jokic MVP style thing. That's a lot to ask of a true freshman from Spain. Still, a lot of high praise for his offensive ability. A supposed skyhook like Kareem, passing like none other, a sneaky jump shot, and some hopefully good reach defensively. We did not see that in this one. Devin Williams, 4 minutes, 2 points. Brandon Williams, who played 14 minutes, probably more minutes than I realized coming into the season. I didn't think Williams would get as much time coming into this year, but throughout the summer, and as we saw in Spain, working his way in the preseason game against Cal State Dominguez Hills, he's going to work himself into maybe more minutes than I thought coming into the season for being a very young freshman. Mick Cronin has talked about Brandon Williams only being 17 heading into the season, who could still easily be in another year of high school ball, developing, getting more mature with the basketball IQ and strengthening his body for a college freshman. No, he's playing D1 ball now and came in and had 4 points, 5 boards in 14 minutes. Now there's going to be some growing pains this season. This game, a little evident of that in the first half, took a late UCLA run to go up by 10, and then they completely dominated in the second half, closing the game on a 10-0 run, shooting 6 for the last 6, and ending up keeping the red flash, 0 for 7, and scoreless over the last 3 minutes. UCLA is going to have to find ways to shoot and take more threes, and especially in the first half when they didn't dominate the rebounding category. They didn't dominate this game overall rebounding, only +2. That is a glaring spot Mick Cronin highlighted, not before the game, but before the season. We're going big. We need to rebound. That did not happen in this game to a point where they were super dominant. Overall, UCLA got the win. We didn't see a lot from all. We didn't see a lot from the international players overall. And the true freshmen didn't necessarily have extremely big roles. Bona, Nuba, and the newcomer Lazar Stefanovic, those guys combined for 49 of UCLA's 75 points. More points from those 3 combined than St. Francis had for this entire game. So we saw good things, but there will need to be a lot of growth for this team to be a true contender against top-tier non-conference teams, the Pac-12 as a whole, and then even to get into March, you're going to have to get better. Only night one, but the Bruins are 1-0, baby. Let's go and get the job done. Adem Bona, again, a lot has to be said. The ability defensively, the ability offensively, we'll see if it grows and develops over the season against bigger, better opponents defensively. But in the end, he just looked like a man amongst boys, and he showed out with arguably his best stat line of his career for someone who's already coming in with the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year award to his ledger. All right, Bruins want to know. Let's tell you more about the Bruins coming up next against Lafayette. All right, we'll get that in the rest of the Locked On UCLA episodes. Well, with the dominant UCLA win, you're probably wondering who your game changer of the week is, right? For UCLA basketball, brought to you by Athletic Brewing Company. Much like Adem Bona's ability to completely change the game when he's on the floor, offensively, defensively, Athletic Brewing has completely changed the game in the non-alcoholic beer game. They make non-alcoholic beers that actually taste good. They've completely changed the game because they make non-alcoholic beers that are full of flavor, well-crafted, just like a full-strength beer, and they beat out full-strength beers in global competitions. Most importantly, they're fit for all times. Anytime, anywhere, you can drink them to make any activity more enjoyable, like the big game. All the UCLA men's basketball games, your kids' game, UCLA women's basketball, everything. No hangovers ever. All you have to do is go to Athletic Brewing Company's non-alcoholic brews. Find them at a store or buy online at athleticbrewing.com. First-time customers use the code LOCKEDON at 15% off to your first order. Again, that's code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, locked on at checkout for 15% off at athleticbrewing.com. Near beer, exclusions and conditions apply. Athletic Brewing Company, fit for all times. Also, just like UCLA men's hoops has a lot of open positions potentially up for grabs with a lot of youth coming in. Maybe you're not going through a youth movement with your small business, but you do feel like that new potential hire is a high stakes wager. You want to be 100% certain, maybe like Mick Cronin when he wants to put a player in for crunch time or to take that last shot. You want somebody who is the best qualified candidate available, which is why there's LinkedIn Jobs that helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. All you can do and what you can do is use the screening questions, which makes it easier to focus on the right candidates to initially interview and then hire. And small businesses overall rate LinkedIn #1 in delivering quality hire versus leading competitors. They help you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Again, that's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. That's going to do it, UCLA fans. Get your hands up, Bruins. We're going to get this job ready to go. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and most importantly, Locked On UCLA. We got more football content. We're going to do the grades and reactions to football against Arizona. What needs to improve heading into another battle from the state of Arizona, Arizona State coming up. Chip Kelly, fire him. Again, those cheers come up. Would you rather have Chip Kelly or insert head coach or fire him? A lot of questions, a lot of debates. We're going to talk about all that coming up throughout the week. And again, we'll lead things up with UCLA's next games for hoops. Men's and women's looking good. Women's soccer are one of the top seeds in the NCAA tournament. We're extremely excited. So hands up, 8 clap time, baby. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. UCLA. UCLA fight, fight, fights. This has been Locked On UCLA. Zach signing off saying, go Bruins.